Welcome to IXL U.11, where we're talking about angles inscribed inside of quadrilaterals. Wow, that was a little more of a tongue twister than I expected. So these, at least at the start, have a pretty straightforward rule. Hopefully you like the number 180 because we'll be using that a lot. But the basic rule with these quadrilaterals is that opposite angles are supplementary, or they add to 180. So angle S and angle Q, those are opposite. And then angle R and angle T are our other set of opposite angles. And so to calculate the measure of these, the most basic problem, you take your opposite angles. So here we want to know S and we know what Q is. And so we're just going to plain take 180, subtract angle Q. 180 minus 91 gives us 89 degrees. That's the measure of angle S. If you like to write it as a formula, you could say X, that's not an X, X plus 91 equals 180. And if you want to get super picky about geometry notation, you could say the measure of angle S plus the measure of angle Q equals 180. But to go through and solve the problem, really all you need to do for this one is subtract. So just remember, opposite angles are supplementary. Okay, so here is another similar one. First up is I would identify the opposite angles. We want to find the measure of angle E. So across from angle E is angle G. So if you add those together, measure of angle E plus the measure of angle G equals 180 degrees. And I'm going to use a shortcut and just plain do 180 minus 103 to calculate the measure of angle E. So 180 minus 100 is 80. 80 minus 3 is 77. In case you're curious what all that is about, I like to do mental math, and I've done it often enough that it's just as fast for me to do it in my head as it is to grab a calculator, or even faster. So if I ever talk out loud doing that, that is why I'm kind of going through and speaking random numbers out loud. Okay, so here we want to know what are the measures of angle J and angle K. So angle J is opposite or across from angle H, which is way down here. So to find angle J, we're going to do 180 minus 95, which 180 minus 90 is 90, minus 5 is 85 degrees. So angle J is 85 degrees. And then for angle K is opposite angle I. So we're going to do 180 minus the measure of angle I, or 180 minus 97. Calculate that. 180 minus 90 is 90, minus 7 is 83. So angle J is 85 degrees, angle K is 83. If at any point you need to pause the video and go back and look at some of the work I've done, feel free to do that. That's a great way to catch up and review some of the concepts. Okay, here, what are the measures of angles H and I? So this is exactly like the last problem I did. At this point, I encourage you to pause the video, go through, try this on your own. And I'm going to pause the video as well. So in the next 30 seconds, the work will automatically show up here. But I encourage you to pause the video, try it on your own, and see if our answers match. The work to go through and solve that problem, you can pause the video if you need and look at how I got that. But the measure of angle I is 107. The measure of angle H is 115. Hopefully you're starting to feel pretty comfortable with these. Let me scroll up, make sure I remember the answer. Yeah. And let's see if IXL continues to give us problems like this, or if it gives us some new ones. So here, this is the same problem, kind of like what we just did the last one. So just remember those opposite angles we're going to subtract. And if you wanted to pause the video um, and try solving it on your own, that would definitely be a great skill builder here. But I'll go ahead and do this example and then look through and see if IXL throws anything harder at us in this one. Let's see, 10 minus 1 is 9, 7 minus 1 is 6. Those cancel out. Okay, so 69 degrees. Then over here, 180 minus 106 will give us our second answer. 180 minus 100 is 80. 80 minus 6 is 74 degrees. So the measure of angle I is 69 degrees. The measure of angle H is 74 degrees. So 74 and 69. It's kind of cool that IXL has this writing format where you can go through and write your answers. So take a look at the rest of these and I'll go through, do some work. If harder ones pop up, I will come back and explain those. But for now, I'm going to say good luck with this. Go ahead, try it on your own. And if you're one of my students, let me know if you've got questions. Guess what? IXL does let the problems get just a little bit more challenging, but I know you're up to the challenge. I'll go through and do an example just so you can see, okay, this is what IXL is going to do. I don't have to freak out. But now IXL wants us to do some algebra. So first of all, remember to look for those angles that are opposite. So here, H and F are opposite from each other. And so those, we're going to add them together. So we know the measure of angle F plus the measure of angle H, those opposite angles, they're supplementary, so they add to 180 degrees. And then you can go ahead and substitute those in. So you've got x plus 42 plus x plus 4 equals 180. Then go ahead and combine the any like terms you have. So here, same variable, same exponent. We can add those together. So 1x plus 1x gives you 2x. And then the numbers, those are like terms. So 42 plus 4 is 46. Then solve that like a normal equation. Go ahead, subtract 46 from both sides of the equal sign. We get 2x equals 134. Divide both sides by 2, and you should get x equals 67 if I'm doing this correctly in my head. So, yep, x equals 67. So remember, just if they give you an equation, those opposite angles are supplementary or they add to 180 degrees. Okay, I'm going to assume that that's as complex as IXL gets. So good luck as you go through work with these. Just remember those opposite angles are supplementary.